Hey y'all, welcome back to Raw Recovery, the community. Today's episode is a really special one for our community. Lori is someone who has had a powerful impact, not just in recovery, but within our Raw Recovery family as well. She was actually the very first person our team member Allison met when she was just 21 years old and first stepping into the recovery spaces. At a point where Allie had so many questions and didn't know what this journey would even look like, Lori was the person who showed up and answered every single one of them. Honesty, patience, and no judgment. Over the years, Lori has had a staple in Allie's life and continues to be a strong part of her support system. Lori is a mother, a sister, and a friend. She works in the operating room at the local hospital, currently working to obtain her Reiki teacher certificate. She's also an incredibly talented photographer. But beyond all of that, she's a woman who has experienced addiction, heartbreak, healing, and has rebuilt her life from the ground up. She represents the very essence of what raw recovery and real recovery and growth looks like. We are so honored to have her here with us today. Lori, welcome to Raw Recovery.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And for context, just for anyone who is tuning in for the first time, Allison is a member of our team. She's so phenomenal. She does a lot of work behind the scenes, and she does a great job with getting us our guests on the show. And when she told me about you, she spoke very highly of you. She told me what you mean to her and what you have done for the recovery spaces. So we do appreciate all you do.
Oh, thank you. But Allie also does a very good job in the recovering spaces.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, let's get into it. So let's just tell the people just a little bit about yourself. How much clean time do you have as of today?
So I'm 20 years as of today.
Wow.
And I'll have 21 on May 11th.
21 years of sobriety, that is absolutely phenomenal. For the person who is listening in right now, can you share a little bit about what your life looks like right now on a day-to-day basis with this significant amount of clean time?
Well, it certainly is opposite what it looked like when I was trying to get a full day. Mm-hmm. My life has completely changed, and I've completely changed, and I still change to this day.
Right.
Things that I need to make better for myself, the way I need to behave in this world for myself and others. That's still an ongoing. Mm-hmm. But my life has definitely changed, and I'm amazed that it's been this many years. Mm. But I look at it as the years just go by so quickly, and one day leads to the next day. And I feel that every time there's one day leads to the next day, it gives me opportunity to do something different, right, to make a little tweak in my whatever I feel I need to work on. It gives me another day that I could show up for myself and show up for others. And I just keep doing the saying that I was taught, to just keep doing that next right thing every day.
When you hear the word recovery, what does it mean for you today?
Wow, recovery. If recovery means having my life be changed every day. You know, it's not. Recovery is such an awesome gift, and we choose to throw it away because we answer the pull to the other side. I didn't want to answer the pull to the other side, although I've had that happen over many early years. I just didn't want to answer that. I answered to a higher caller.
21 years of clean time. Can you think back to when it all first started? When did your relationship with substances first begin?
I was very young. Substances came after, but I was a runaway. I was constantly running away from East Meadow to Hempstead to knock on my grandmother's door, who I felt was the only one that understood me. And I still believe that she was the only one that loved me that hard and understood me. But then from there, it was just a matter of not being home And then it was a matter of smoking pot with Vietnam vets. They were very influential in my life. They were just coming home from Vietnam, and I lived 2 houses in off of a pretty main road that led to a park in East Meadow. That's still there. It used to be called Salisbury Park for the rest of us that know it. And they would all be filled with Vietnam vets everywhere, and there would be hash, pot.
Gotcha.
And that's how I started smoking that. And it was, liquor was part of it, but I could never drink without getting sick. But drugs, I could do for days. So it did start there, very young age, 11, I would say.
Wow.
Definitely by the time I was 12.
I heard you mention that you felt like your grandmother was the only one who you connected to with on like a deeper level than most. At the time, would you say that you were looking to escape something, or when you first started using?
Yeah.
Can you think back to what that might have been?
So I didn't know this at the time. I learned this while working recovery through being part of a facility. I'll call it Morning Star. I don't think I need permission to say that. I was in that facility and I met my one-on-one counselor, who I still love and talk to today. It's funny you bring up that question. It's been a while since I've thought of that. But I sat down and I'll never forget, I told her how my relationship was with my mom. And she said that B-I-T-C-H, and I was floored.
Oh, you were sharing with her some situations with your mom?
It was a similar question like you're asking me, right? So that's when I learned the word parentified.
Break it down for us.
So parentified is a parent that gives you everything you need so you could be the parent.
Wow.
And it's a problematic thing. So I was responsible for the 4 children behind me.
Gotcha.
Responsible for the youngest, which was just born.
Okay.
Stirring bottles to not make them clean. What do you call it? When you're stirring the bottles for a baby, you want it sterilized. To watching the belly button tag fall off. Putting her in strollers. Bringing her up to the Salisbury Park. Hanging out with all my friends, I'll say in air quotes. I just was parentified, and I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Being the babysitter, helping my other siblings. I didn't know that was a thing, but it was the beginning of my feeling like not a good enough person or not being able to fit in. I always wanted to go out. I would have to take the younger one with me.
Right.
And I just always lived like that. So that was the beginning, I guess.
So you kind of didn't get to experience being a child.
No.
Your mom had you doing a lot of the things that she was actually responsible to do.
Exactly.
Did she have any struggles of her own that you guys might have later found out about?
Yeah, I think I know she struggled with her relationship with her mom. I know that my dad went out to Wisconsin to build their print shop as a linotype operator way back in the late 40s. He was from Korean War after that, but he loved my mom, watched her leave her high school up in the north woods of Wisconsin. And the next thing you know, she's got the escape out from her mom, and he brings her to Queens, New York. And it was like she really loved my dad, but I think that was pretty much all she loved.
Okay.
It wasn't like she loved like having 5 kids.
Understood. Respect. Thank you for sharing a little bit about your past.
Yeah.
When it comes to addiction, it can take us all over. Where do you think your addiction took you? Where's some of the deep, dark places that addiction has taken you? And do you even feel, even with all this clean time, that you're still like trying to fix things from the past, from some of the dark places that addiction has unfortunately taken you?
I don't know if fixing that really is what I would call it. However, it is like walks with me. You know, I normally I think if I had a different childhood, a different relationship with adults and, as a child, I don't know, maybe, like, we weren't a family that talked about anything at the dinner table. We weren't a family that said, I love you. We just weren't that family. And it's 5 of us. So I married a guy that is from my neighborhood, that I stayed the same person that I was growing up. So whatever he wanted, I did. Whatever he didn't want, I didn't do. I was very, not controlled, but I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a voice in my family either. And I felt so comfortable with that. And then 17 years into the marriage, I got very, very sick. I had early menopause. I was in a lot of pain. I was at doctors who was saying that I have this stressful going on, this stress that's causing my body this early menopause. I was told I was 2 steps from a nervous breakdown. I didn't even know what that meant. If I was using all different pills to try to stop bleeding. I was bleeding everywhere. And then at that point, there were so many years of the abuse from his family, the verbal abuse from his mom. She just did not like me. And he, I think, was just so used to being the golden child. And like I said, I would have done anything for him. But then when I got so sick, I felt and started to realize I was feeling like I was being used, and I didn't know what to do with all of that. And I ended up, I had a friend, she was leaving her husband, and I asked if I could rent with her. And I moved out, and I swore I moved out. I was going to feel better, get healthier. I just needed some time to relax, and I did nothing but sleep for weeks. And then I just never went back. And that's really when my addiction took off.
Wow.
That was the beginning of it. But during the time that I was still married, my brother was the first one that introduced me to cocaine. And then my ex brought it home from while we were still married, from Puerto Rico. We used to go to these ball games, and he would play on this league. And he brought that home. And he's like, you're really having a problem with this? So he stopped bringing it home, but it never really left my mind. So when I moved out of the marriage, it was one of the first things I started doing again.
Oh, wow. How long of a break would you say from moving out to when you moved in with your friend and got your own place did you start using on your own? How did you even find a dealer? How did how did that start for you? Because you said originally your husband was bringing it, your brother, but now you're in a space where you're by yourself.
The bars were in it.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved to Green Lawn area. So I was kind of between Huntington and Green Lawn, but I actually became homeless in Green Lawn because of my bar. I started to become a bartender. And because of the bar, and because they had, everybody in there was doing cocaine at the time. I'm talking 1994, right. 1995, 96.
Okay.
And I ended up becoming homeless there because nobody wanted to rent to me. Nobody wanted to rent a room. And I just was up all night. I would stay with whatever guy would let me stay with them for one night, right. Then the next night do the same thing. And I did that for 4 years. And then one of the guys I met in the bar in Green Lawn, I was living with him. He was as addicted as I was. I was living with him in his parents' home that when they passed, he became the owner. Right. And we thought, this is great. But it wasn't great.
I want to just tap in a little bit when you were saying how you were staying with different people. How was that? Because I know what that's like when you're in your addiction and you don't have anywhere to go and you have to stay with a man that you really don't want to stay with. It's the worst. Like I know. So for the person listening in, like this is Raw Recovery. We're just being transparent about what happens in addiction, and homelessness is a very real thing.
Yeah.
And survival is a thing too, by any means necessary. Can you tap in and share a little bit about what those experiences were like, and how you've forgiven yourself today for having to, again, tap into survival mode?
It's like a daily prayer. It's like the daily prayer that I use, the daily connection to God that I have, where I almost ask for forgiveness every day, because I can't redo those years, right? But I give everything I can to my kids today. And those years are lost and are over. However, I'm so happy that I was in Green Lawn, because I began to change a lot. I didn't know why or what it was, but one of the guys that would bring me cocaine, he also was the person that told me I really need to go in and to the crisis center. He goes, call up and see if they have a bed for you, and I'll call up for me. Oh, wow. And there was no bed for him, but there was a bed spot they would put me in. So my oldest son, when I called him, he said, don't move, I'll come and get you. And he took me to the crisis center. It used to be, I think, in Bohemia. I don't believe it's there any longer. But they kept me 13 days because I was in cocaine psychosis. From 13 days, they said I have to go to CK Post for 30 days. I'm like, I don't want to do 30 days. I'm better. I'm fine. They wouldn't release me. They could have if I wanted to walk out the door. But every time I threatened to do that, I knew I had nowhere to go.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll go to CK Post. I did that for 30 days. And then they said I needed a long-term facility. So I'm like, well, where am I going now? And I had an interview with Morningstar, and they wanted to have me commit to 3 months. And I was like, felt so forced in the corner, and I was blaming them for it when it was my own fault. I didn't have an address to go to. I would have been back on probably the streets of Green Lawn, which I was living in the basement of a laundromat next to the one of the Green Lawn bars, because the owner of the laundromat had a cocaine issue. And so he would unlock the doors and I could go down there anytime I wanted. But I remember laying on these garbage, people like threw out a garbage chase lounge, and I was like, would take it and bring it down to the basement. And then we both got sick. We both got gout on our feet. And I was like, okay, ended up going to get clean. And during the 30 days, they started giving me medication and they labeled it gout, which I didn't even know what that was. So I knew that going back and not doing the long-term facility, I knew I had nowhere back to go.
Right.
So I did long-term. I knew after 3 months that I promised I would do, I started to realize, like, I need to stay here if I'm going to get better. Wow. And that's what I did. I stayed, went to the back to work program, and goes on to my job that I got at the hospital.
Tap into that a little bit. You're now working there?
Well, I'll have 21 years in May, and I'll have 20 years at the hospital.
Wow.
Wait, 21 years and 20 years at the hospital,
right.
May 5th.
That's phenomenal.
And 21 May 11th,
wow.
clean.
That is phenomenal.
So I got to the hospital, got hired, transported patients, took the clerk's test from some, I was still using in a way, because the guy that was going to take a clerk's test, I'm like, oh, I'll take the clerk's test if you would drive me there, which of course he did. Like, it was still game playing like that. Didn't have a license, didn't have a car. And I had a little bit of issue with him, but, it was just like it was what it was at the time. And then I had a floor like me, and they held a clerk's job for me.
Nice.
I went on to clerk there, clerk at another floor, and then the operating room had an opening, and I'm in the operating room 12 years alone as part of my 20 years.
Wow, that's a nice journey. The people who have seen you at your job, they can see the difference in you from...
They didn't know me when I was using.
Oh, okay. Okay. Previously, before we started recording, you and I were speaking about how in the beginning, when we didn't really know what was going on with us, and even after we did know what was going on with us, how we were just so ashamed to talk about it. For the person listening in, what do you want to say, and how do you want to address the shame that a person is feeling, even just to ask for help?
That's a very, very hard question because we're all so different. I think most addicts that realize that are afraid to say it. And it does limit their options to get help. I think you have to be very choosy who you're going to tell. For me, it was to tell... I mean, I didn't even have to tell the people that I was using with that, this is a problem. They would tell me that this is a problem.
The people you were using with,
Yep.
because they were sort of like a functioning. I know we try to stay
They were doing better than I
Right,
was.
right. So they noticed that you were not able to handle it the way, at least that they were.
Right.
Right.
Right. So a lot of that came from them handling it better than I was. But I don't know their backgrounds. If you have a background where all those feelings are coming up, I feel like you should just find somebody that you could talk to about it and get used to talking about it. I had to start talking about it because they put me in the 30-day CK post. You couldn't not talk about it.
Right.
I didn't know where that would take me, but if I wanted to stay there, I needed to discuss things openly, and it was very hard. But the reason why I did it was because then I couldn't stay if I'm not going to participate. I had nowhere else to go. I knew that I had nowhere else to go, and I was kind of pinched between a rock and a hard place. And so I started to say things and then got used to saying things. And then I got put into Morning Star. I had a fight with the girl that the first day I got there. I didn't know there was take turns for your laundry day. I just got there, threw my laundry in. This girl came over and said, "Excuse me, it's my turn for the laundry." I said, "I don't care about your turn." And I got spoken to about starting a fight. I'm like, "I didn't start a fight. I used the laundromat." They said, "Okay." So now they give you demerit, right? So let me tell you some of this too. I'm not a very good girl when it comes to if I'm being told no. That's an issue for me. If you tell me no, even if I would feel like, not really interested, but I'd like to get a yes. If I get a no, I get very interested and need a yes. It's so bizarre.
I got you. It's okay.
Of course, I got spoken to about that, and I had to make an apology. That was my first effort in making an apology to a fellow woman in the facility, and there were 21 of us.
I've heard you're someone else who has spoken on going to rehab, originally not really even wanting to be there, but while there, tapping in, and just something clicked for you while you were in there, or while a person is in there, even if they've been more than once. Because there's people who go to, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Whenever it clicks, it clicks. But
yes,
I do really love the stories. I mean, of course, I don't. It's sad to hear someone had to go to rehab, they didn't really willingly want to go, but whatever the case, they went there and they got what they needed. And it's really important for a person who's listening in that is contemplating going to rehab or is completely against going to rehab. There is a possibility that you might be missing out on your break in there.
I think it is a missing out. I think it's not. Yeah, that was my rock bottom. Now I started going to meetings because I was in there, went in Morning Star. They took us in a van I used to cry in the van that I was stuck in this van going to a meeting. I was so mad.
I can understand that.
And then, and I'm 48 years old, mind you. I'm not a kid. I'm 48 years old.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what I did with my life. And I know
Ooh.
every reason what I did with my life.
Oh, gosh.
That's a lot. And then, but you know what? You get like, you hear something and it just changes your inside. And then you kind of, I don't know how to describe it. What was that question exactly
No,
you were asking?
you're explaining it perfectly. When I was asking about going into rehab, and then maybe something might just click. You know,
Yes.
you're letting us know, like, from what you're explaining, that can be their experience.
Yeah, I mean, even though I felt like I was forced to go, but I was willing to go because I had nowhere else to go, which to me felt like it was being forced to go. However, yes, there were things there that gave me enough safe space and time and a bed and a single room that brought me to the place where I started to see some things they were saying was true. And I think that was the hardest thing for me, to admit that some of these things were true.
That part, right?
The admission that I was totally wrong. I'm 48 and I'm smoking crack cocaine that I managed to perfect for myself. I asked some other addict to teach me how to do it, and they're like, you don't want to learn how to do this. I'm like, oh, yes, I do. And it became like a perfect art for me to make.
Wow.
It was crazy. It's, you know, you have like the devil on one shoulder and God on the other shoulder. Well, the devil is like, I feel like the devil kind of fantasized it for me. I feel like those spirit wars are very real and they very tangible when you're doing the wrong thing and you get away with it, or it's the perfect crime or the perfect recipe. It's the wrong voices you're listening to.
That was very well said. And I can put myself in your shoes whenever it's like you're trying to do the right thing, but you have both sides calling you, but for whatever reason, the voice of evil is just so much louder.
Yeah.
When you're in your addiction, for me, when you're in your addiction and when you're first getting sober, it's just like, well, why not a drink? You know, like what's really going to hurt when you know one drink means you're about to be homeless. For me, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
A drink can make me lose everything that I've worked so hard for. So unfortunately, those thoughts, especially they say idle time is the devil's playground. If you're not connected to a community and it's only your thoughts, it can be dangerous.
So dangerous.
What was it like the first few days and weeks? Like, what were those first few days and weeks of getting sober like? Can you tap back into that time?
Well, I mean, I was under cocaine psychosis was the, diagnosis. When I look back, it's very foggy. So I guess that was the psychosis part. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but how was that like? It was like I was defeated and I was just walking in. It wasn't like I'm throwing my hands up in the air and like, I'm going to be saved. I wasn't thinking like I'm going to be saved because, I'm done, I'm ready. It's like having a gun to your head. You put your hands up. You're not going to fight the gun to your head. So I put my hands up. But, I have a weird thing too where I hear God's voice at times. Like I hear a knowing voice at times where I feel is my connection to God. And I heard a booming voice say, enough. And that's what really stopped me, and agreed to the 30 days and agreed to the facility, and then agreed to go accept the back to work program. I mean, that was the best thing that I ever did, was go agree to all those things. Because now I'm looking at retiring with 20 years.
Wow.
Like, I never would have thought that I would ever be able to go back to work and have any sustainability with working. I never worked while I was married for 17 years.
Right.
I worked only when I first walked out. And then I got fired from my second job because of my drug use. It, was one job after another.
I know?
Then I went to bartending. I even got fired from the owner in Greenlawn because I was there with all the drug dealers. He's like, I don't need you here. I don't need them here. And then he would always rehire me.
Right. Wow.
It was just like this crazy cycle.
It's like, yeah, right. I was just about to say, so when you first got sober, because we're talking about your early recovery, what was the hardest part of it? Maybe facing some things that you've done in the past, or just facing a future that you have no uncertainty about?
I didn't have an uncertainty about my future, but I knew I always had my God. I knew the future had to get better, and I always had faith. The hardest was my kids. Like my son started coming into the bar that I was bartending in because he was 18 years old. Meanwhile, I didn't want him in there.
Oh, no. Yeah. What is your relationship like with your kids today?
It's good, but I love them, and it's good. But there were so many years that they missed with me.
Yeah.
So I kind of know they have this kind of feelings about that. And the only thing I can do, and the only thing I work on doing, is who I am today. Showing up for them any and every time they need me. I do have 2 grandsons.
Nice.
And they started with a new babysitter in the neighborhood, so I don't babysit them anymore. But a lot of it is they come home late, and they're a young couple. They're a couple in their 40s. And they come home late, and I want to go to bed. So it kind of really didn't work out, which is another problem of my getting clean later in life. Because I can't go to bed at 11 anymore and then get up for work, or even just get up the next day, even with no work. My job with my kids is to always be there for them, aside from the babysitting, which I'm sorry if my daughter-in-law is listening. That's just like a tired physical age thing for me, I feel like. But always be there for them whenever they really need me. And that I've been able to do.
That's beautiful.
And not torture them, not ask them to do things for me. Like my son has his own family. My youngest son does do a lot for me, but I've learned so many things in how to do myself. And I don't rely on him like that as much anymore. Like kind of release them from the burden of having me.
When previously you had said that one of your sons came to get you from the rehab, or to take you to the rehab.
No, to take me there.
Take you there. Do you guys ever just talk about your past, or is it completely in the past?
I mean, I'm pretty open about my past. That's my oldest married son. And his wife is lovely. She's so proud of me. She met me while I just started working at the hospital. She could not believe the backstory.
Right.
She is very proud. We don't talk about it in front of the boys. The boys are now 12 and 9.
Okay.
They're very into sports. We just don't bring it up. There's no reason for that.
Yeah. When did you realize your recovery was more than just about the substance?
Oh, God.
Right? Because you said you did a lot of work in the program, in the rehab.
I didn't want to know it, but certainly through Morningstar. They're the ones that teach everyday life and how it's going to go. But I would have to say it's still an ongoing awareness that I recognize where I didn't recognize it earlier on. I don't know, I don't want to talk too much about it. I get very stressed when there's a lot put on my plate. And sometimes that happens in my workplace, which is probably my hardest place to be.
Okay.
but I shouldn't take it out on my coworkers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing better with it.
Right.
But I wasn't good with it at first. It's stuff like that. Thank God it's a state job, quite honestly. Because if it was a private industry, I would have been fired by now.
God. I know you have more clean time than me, but I know that I'm constantly working on my attitude. Nobody owes me anything, but with that in mind, they don't deserve any type of animosity. They didn't do anything to put me in this position that I'm in. Bouncing back from my addiction and homelessness and probation, and it's hard to get your life back on track. But
It's very hard.
One did that to me.
My life is back on track with my missing the same thing that you just said. My attitude is not always back on track.
Yeah. Right.
I learned so many things, I would say, over the last 5 years of my being clean. The biggest thing I learned was to accept myself and not be afraid of others. I have a terrible fear of other people in front of me. The fear is that I cannot take care of myself in front of someone I don't know. And my biggest problem was in the hospital. I don't know this person. Like, all my back, what's the word, like, it just like pops up out of my past. Oh, I don't know this person. How do I trust that person?
Right.
Where really it became, how do I trust myself in the face of that person? And I didn't get that until I was well into my recovery, well into working at the hospital, and I forget it often.
Well, so now that you have been able to get that kind of mastered,
Not mastered, but still working through it.
Yeah, I got you. Whenever in early recovery, did you notice a pattern of people pleasing or trying to just like even make up for like things in the past? I know I felt like I always had to make it right, if to the best of my ability with certain people. Is that something that you struggle with, and for how long for a person like me, so I can have some light at the end of the tunnel, because I'm struggling with the people pleasing to this day.
So I feel like how do I describe this? It's I really stopped the people pleasing within the last 12 months.
Wow.
It's very hard for me. It was hard for me to begin that. It's just, I want to people please once I get to know someone, but I had to learn time and time again, if I want to do something for someone, or like I bake cookies sometimes, I'll bring them into work and I'll share them with those that I'm friendly with. I mean, it's kind of hard to share for everyone, but I do have people that I do have fun with. I do like doing that, and I don't feel like I'm people pleasing. People pleasing is a little difficult because it's a very fine line, and I feel like I can step into some people pleasing, but I tend to know when to back off it.
Okay.
So I think the most important thing I'm learning is to when I'm going to get back up. Because it's all like a distance thing. How close are you going to go for that?
Yeah.
I very late in my recovery, I learned how to really say no to others. Like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Very hard.
I'm working on that vocabulary, because like you said, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
Especially for people that I probably did wrong in the past. And even people that I've just met. Like, I struggle with it. So
people I just met are really the ones that are helping me do it. The people in the past, I did amends with people that matter to me.
Talk to me. Okay.
When I was on that step.
Okay.
Like my family, for example, my siblings, for example. I'm always on that step with them. Because they just wanted me to get better. I mean, I remember I was working, I got a job in a restaurant in Green Lawn. I needed cash. I get a job. They loved me there, my whole attitude. And then I get a phone call from my brother, one of my brothers. I have two. I'll never forget it. He called me at the restaurant. I had a table that I was working with. I went back to get the food, and the call came through to the back, where the cooks are. And somebody tells me it's a phone call for me. It's my brother. I'm like, what are you doing calling me here? And he's like, well, we just spoke with your probation officer. We want you to know that she's on your side. I'm like, excuse me, there's liquor being served in this restaurant. I'm going to lose this job now.
Right.
I was so mad. I said to them, never get in touch with me again. Sure enough, they fired me. And then I stopped going to my probation officer, and it is when I ended up. She sent the SWAT team to my house at 6 a.m. to the place I was renting at 6 a.m. because I wouldn't give myself in, and then that was like the beginning of everything, because then I became homeless again, and then some of the stories are like intertwined with each other, but that's when I gave myself into the when I was under cocaine psychosis. My son got involved, and I went in there, ended up in Morningstar. And the crazy thing is my brother, they pay phones still then. So I put the payphone in, I call my brother, and my one brother goes, oh, I'm so glad you put yourself in there. We really want you to get better, but don't bother calling Dean, because he's not going to be talking to you until you are at least 1 year clean. And I'm like, well, who does he think he is?
Right. Right. I was literally just thinking that. I'm listening to you tell your story, but I was literally just thinking that. So what is your relationship like with your siblings now?
Oh, it's great.
How about building new relationships? Did it take time to patch up those old relationships? And how are you with building healthy relationships today?
Terrible.
Okay.
I feel like I'm very happy alone.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't go out much. I love my home. I have 3 cats. Where do I need to go?
Okay.
I mean, I have 2, but then I fostered 3. But the one foster, we fell in love with each other. I couldn't. And I ended up adopting him myself through Brookhaven.
So you're pretty busy with your cat family?
I also have a home I own by myself.
Okay.
That was from my oldest son. We split a house together. And then from that proceeds, I bought a house in Rocky Point. And it's a lot of work. Property's a lot of work. I don't know. I'm not young. I'm not that young where I'm like going out places, going out with a bunch of friends. I don't really do that.
You're pretty comfortable now.
Well, yeah, I'm thankful for the age for that because I don't really, I don't know. I just like my alone time.
I love that for you. If I'm being honest, like you're good. You said your age, your space. You've had your family. You're good.
I'm good.
I respect it. Previously, when we were talking a little bit about your mom and the way that you were raised, do you feel like because you had to take on so much that you missed out on certain things, like learning certain things from your mom that she possibly should have taught you, and how did that have an effect on your addiction and on your sobriety? The things that you had to learn like later in life.
It's annoying to have to learn later in life, but my being clean all these years gave me the opportunity to learn these things myself as they come up. I mean, I think she was really that way just with me, not the other 4. I think that she just had a lot going on. My dad was a little more loving, but we never had conversations. We were a typical family in their 50s, in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
They were raised by parents from the 40s, so nobody talked about anybody's business at the dining room table. We didn't have a voice. there was always the kids' table at a holiday. You know, I think it was just the years that we were being raised that way. I don't know. And my mom felt overwhelmed having 5 kids. I do a lot of, I'm not going to say do a lot now. I do a little less now, but I would say for the last 5 years, I did do more, not seances, more reading, had more readings done. And through a reading, my mom said that she was sorry and that she did the best she could at the time.
Wow.
And I cried over that because I felt like I didn't want to forgive her. But I knew I had to because that voice wouldn't have come through and said that. Nobody would have known that, that was a thing between us.
Right.
Like on my wedding day, there was a picture taken with her and I. She kissed me on my cheek. That was it for the whole day. Now, I don't know about you, but when my daughter got married, I was all over her. Like my mom just didn't,
Right, the connection.
wasn't able to have that. So I just feel like, you know, she's been known to be in my house, and I enjoy it.
Okay.
She said my house is nice and cozy. And these come from, you know, readers that I've learned about and that I still keep in touch with. So,
does that have anything to do in connection to the Reiki practices that you're currently taking up?
No, I've had experiences from the other side all my life.
Oh, okay.
The Reiki came in 2019, where I was so interested in it and I wanted to learn about it. And a friend of mine was a teacher, had just gotten her teacher certification, and I went to her for my level 1 and level 2, and I loved it. I love everything about it. It just is a way to move your energy, align your energy, remove things that are not energetically good for you, whatever that may look like to them. I moved out to Rocky Point, and I wanted to do, after that went on with my mom, I wanted to do my level 3 master level, which I did 2 years ago. And now I'm looking to do the teacher certification. I think when I retire, I would love to teach Reiki, you know, for like I go to Glowing Energy. If anybody wants to learn about Reiki, they're wonderful there in Miller Place. And that's where I'll go for my teacher certificate also.
With all of those different practices, it helps you stay leveled and in a good space. Before you even tapped into anything like that, in early recovery, and even maybe now, are there times where you feel some sort of uncertain? Like, do you feel unsure about yourself and even about your recovery, sobriety?
No.
Do you feel like there's a chance of relapse?
No.
Still, okay.
No, I'm definitely aware every morning.
Nice.
I know what I'm about. I know what I want to do. So I would say no. But I've had these things since I'm a child.
Right.
Like I would see these people like with my eyes closed. It's like watching a movie.
Wow.
As a kid. So that's always been with me. And I feel that maybe part of my addiction was it kind of dissipated through me becoming kind of like a robotic in my marriage. And then, you know, trying to get back to something that who knows what it was, but better than how I was feeling at the time. Like I never wanted to commit suicide,
Right.
but I did want to not be here.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling.
I mean,
I know that feeling. To not be suicidal, but not care if you lived or died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling very well. When do you think you started to actually discover and feel some sort of joy in the beginning? When did you notice that today's a good day to have a good day?
I never really talked like that.
Oh,
I just showed up every day.
okay.
Like, I had work to do every day. So I would say when I left Morningstar and I rented my first room was probably the biggest day of my life. It was a chance for me to start over, to rent my first room. I took the bus to a bus stop off of 347 and asked people where this address was because we didn't have cell phones. I didn't have a cell phone. When I rented a room upstairs there, it turned out to be the hospital that I worked for was like they were learning to be doctors, so they would be studying all the time. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because that's where I'm going to be working. So, yeah, I mean, everything just went one after another. I never thought of relapse. I refused to relapse. It was always a decision that there's no room for relapse. I spent 4 years to 5 years taking 2 buses to the hospital because I didn't have a license. My license got revoked because I never took care of tickets and whatever. I ended up going to all the court system taking buses. Hempstead Court, I don't even know why I was in Hempstead Court. That was part of my DWI because I do have 2 DWIs. There was a court, they were all over in Nassau County. I didn't even know why I was driving there.
Right.
But I would walk in, I would tell the judge, hi, I'm, Lori Bockelkin. I'm here because I owe money and I have tickets here. And then the judges were so nice. They all of them were like,
nice judges. That's cool.
yeah. All of them were like, are you employed now? And I like, where did you go? Right. And I said, well, because I got clean and I'm employed at this hospital. And they were like, oh, that's wonderful. We hope that you stay clean. And they would then, give an amount and end the case. Everything would be going away. And the amounts would be like reasonable amounts. Like they should have been 400, 600. They would be like 100 each. And I, okay. I had bought a lot of cash with me and I would pay it. I remember taking the bus from Hempstead all the way out to, I was living in Lake Grove. And I did that over and over again until I had to write back to New York State. They gave me my license back. I still have the paperwork. I'll never lose the paperwork.
Right.
Because their license restriction was all my tickets were paid, all different courts that I went to. Now I wanted my license back. And they said, we'll give you your license back, but under one condition, and it's a strict condition, because I also had to go with all this paperwork, go back to my counselors that taught me, go back to all that were in Morningstar, go back to CK Post, get letters that I successfully graduated. And then, so this is where, like, for my addiction will always show up. They gave me my license back when I put this stack of papers to them to prove that I did everything they asked to do. They sent me my license back, and the condition was if I'm ever pulled over or involved with police, and police have an inkling that I may not be in my right mind, that I may be under the influence, they will not need proof that I was or was not under the influence. They only need the police to look at me and make an evaluation on me. And they will remove my license and I'll never get it again.
This is a thing?
That's what they did. I wish I would have brought my paper with me today, but I can give you a copy of it when I get home. And
I didn't even know that was something they can do.
I had no idea, but you know what? You know where my head went? Oh, I got this. That'll never happen. Like, sign that paper, no problem, send my license. And it did never happen. But in the beginning, I felt like, I need to calm it down.
Yeah.
That means I need to not, I loved speeding. I loved doing over. I needed to slow it down. I mean, it's been 20 years, but it still stands. And the last thing I'm doing, the motivation is, I will never take buses and walk again.
I know that's right.
I will never.
Go ahead. And for anybody who's listening in, speaking from experience, do not play with that DUI, DUIs. Getting your license back is no joke. It took me 10 years to get my shit back, okay? Yeah. I just got my license back a few months ago. And the loopholes and the legalities and the fees, I spent at least almost 10 stacks, $10,000 with the help of my father. Thank you, Daddy. If you're paying attention, I love you. That's my guy. He told me he was going to help me get my life back on track. My whole family is my support. You know.
Thank God you have that.
I will never take away from what the Most High has blessed me with. And I was fortunate not to lose them. I lost a lot of friends, but my family is solid. And my dad definitely paid them fines off for me. And my dad actually paid the fines off, and I still could not get my license back. I didn't get them back. I didn't get my license back for like another 2 years, even after the fines were paid off.
They're going to make you wait.
Someone told me
it's another punishment.
Someone told me on the phone, everybody needs a job. So that's why they're sending you through the loophole. Because it's not that deep. It's not that hard to get paperwork pushed through and this and that, but everybody needs a job. Somebody has to, push the paperwork through. And so it just took years. And it, also for anyone listening in, there is an association, DUI association. It's Google it, but there's an association for people who are struggling to get their license back, and they fight for you. They help you. They make sure you know all the laws and all the rules and let you know if you are even able to get your license back and what steps you need to be taking. So,
wow.
But let's start with not losing our license. Let's start with no DUI.
Let's start with that, because I got rid of that by doing jail time.
Right. Same. I definitely had to spend some time in jail too.
Yeah, they weren't helping me at the time. They wanted me in jail. And that's where I went. And I thought I would never be somebody that would go to jail.
Talk about it. What was it like for you in jail? Speaking as someone who also has never would have fathomed I would step foot inside of a jail.
Well, the funny thing was I went to one of my drug dealers and I'm like, how am I supposed to behave in jail? And you know what he said to me? He goes, Lori, they're going to eat you and throw you away. I'm like, okay, so tell me how I behave. And he said to me, I'm going to give you a hint. He goes, when those girls start bothering you, because they're going to know you've never been there before. They're going to know. And they're going to start to bother you. And he goes, and when they do, you're going to tell them this one thing. And don't forget it. If you bother me one more time, I'm going to fall on the floor. Because I'll be so hurt by you, I won't be able to get up. And let me tell you, there was a girl that started with me. And I did that. Oh, shit. I did it because I knew he was
Somebody
right.
was messing with you?
So, yeah, what happened was, and I am not a racist person. Don't take this wrong.
Go for it.
These two girls were giving everybody braids, like in their hair, where you're braiding, and like you have like 100 of them in your hair. And they're like, come on over, we're going to braid your hair. I said, you're going to what? I said, no, you're not. They say, everybody's getting their hair braided today. I said, I don't care, because I'm not going to be getting my hair. Do I look like I need my hair braided? I said, no, I'm not doing that. And those were the girls that were starting with me, and then they brought that up. And the one girl came over to me. I swear she was probably a head taller than me and wider than me. And I thought, oh, good Lord, I'm going to have to do this. And she looked down on me. She said, you're going to sit right over there, and you're going to get your hair braided.
How you going to force somebody to get their hair braided? Okay.
And all the other girls were all excited about it. They were all online. And I said to her, here, listen to me. I'm going to fall on the floor. I swear to God, word for word. I'm going to fall on the floor, and I won't be able to get up. Because you know why? You're going to pull my hair and make me get my braids. And let's see if there's cameras.
Right.
And she just stepped away from me. She backed away and just turned around and walked the opposite way. And she never came near me. And I ended up doing 45 days, and they released me.
In and out. Wow. Shout out to whoever was giving you a little bit of pointers of what to do to prepare.
Unfortunately, he's passed now, but...
Oh, okay. Condolences. Well, I'll say when it's like, it's just raw, right? It's in the moment. It's in the moment, right? Listen, when I knew I was going to jail, I started watching 90 Days In. It's a show called 90 Days In.
Oh, I never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's like people sign up to go to jail. go figure. They sign up to go to jail because they're supposed to be like helping people, helping the course or the justice system figure out what's wrong with the jail, the corrupt things that are going into jail, whatever.
I can
So
see
me,
that.
yeah, I'm sitting there watching it, trying to prepare to see what it's going to be like in jail. On
But
top
that
of
was
Orange is the New
smart.
Black.
That was smart.
It didn't help. It didn't help at all. I did not. You can't prepare to go to jail. If you've been to jail, obviously you know what it's hitting for. But if you've never been, there's no preparation.
But that was my preparation.
What?
And he was right.
The guy.
Okay. They saw this white girl. They said, this is the new one. I never saw her here before. And they decided they're going to be, playing with me on
But
my hair.
forcing you to braid your hair is something different.
They were all braiding the hair. And I'm like, just minding my business.
I did see when I was in there, everybody, but on the reverse though, when I was in there, all the white girls were doing the braiding of the hair.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't matter what color. They had no color there.
Mm-hmm.
It was everybody was doing it.
What I'm saying is the best braiders in there were the white girls. I was in line to get my hair braided.
They must have been in jail a few times.
They've been there a few times. I'm sure their background, they probably date African American men, whatever,
Whatever,
probably.
yeah.
But they were skilled at braiding hair. I'm telling you what I know. And everybody was in their line to sit in their chair to get their hair braided. I was completely shocked. But unless you've been to jail, you probably don't understand the ins and outs of it. But look at you now. When's the last time that you can say that you were incarcerated?
Oh my gosh, that was back in like 99.
Mm-hmm.
That was back when that judge wanted some high seat in the political world of Long Island and wanted all drug addicts in jail. And that's why I went to jail.
Got you. Okay. And during that time, you said like in the 90s and stuff like that, we still hadn't really pinpoint that addiction is a disease.
Right.
It was being handled. Everybody was just treated as a criminal as opposed to somebody.
No,
who's
I
sick.
definitely was. That I was a criminal. There was no two ways about it.
Yeah. Do you think if there was more discussion and treatment and education around the topic back then, you might have had a different experience as opposed to just going to jail?
That's a hard question. Maybe. I just feel like every person is forced to see themselves as having a problem. Mm-hmm. Right? Because you really don't want to hear from somebody that you have a problem, because I would be the one that would be like, no, I don't. Mm-hmm. But obviously, we know what the problem looks like when we're looking at it on someone else.
Right.
But they're not really looking at it. I didn't look at me having the problem. I always blamed things on my ex-husband. He was the one with the problem.
Right.
It was how I was handling the problem was wrong.
Gotcha.
But I always blamed him. And the fact is, it's not him. I was so raw when it comes to adult life. I was still a child in an adult life. Mm-hmm. I could say that I have more of a reasonable adult life today because I've learned some things that I watch other people and I go, oh, that's how you do that? Or I go, that's not going to work for me.
Right.
Or I go, I don't care. I'm going to, I'm going to do it this way. And then I may be okay with it. It works. And then when it doesn't work, I just don't do it again. I think it's like it's such life lessons on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Respect. At your lowest point, did you ever believe that you would be seeing this version of yourself?
No, definitely not.
Break it down for me.
I mean, I wasn't raised in a talkative family. My parents did a lot of drinking and a lot of rolling out the poker table and their friends. That's what they did. There was no discussions at the dinner table. If we got crappy grades, which all of us did, we were yelled at, punished. I mean, no, I it's embarrassing to say, but I'm maturing from the time I got clean at 48 up until now and still maturing. It's not before that. Mm-hmm. Before that, it was how do I escape? How do I get out of here? Mm-hmm. How do I fix this? Like it just needed somebody to fix this. Mm-hmm. So that didn't work.
Okay. who do you think you are today because of the past, even dealing with addiction? And now that you've been in sobriety, how did it shape you to become the person you are today?
Oh, everything about it.
Come on now.
Everything about it.
And would you even change being an addict?
If I could learn what I learned being an addict, I would love to change being an addict. But it's unchangeable. And it got me the life that I have today, which I would never give up.
Right.
I would never. That's why, like we talked about dating or finding, like, I've never been married again. I was married 17 years. I divorced in 94. And do you want to know what I've been working on since I realized that my addiction was just my way of escaping? What the pain was? The pain was having no voice, believing others, not myself. This is all something I learned in recovery. If I didn't have my drug addiction, my love of drugs from a very young age, there was no escape. It was open the book and learn, or watch the person and learn, listen to the people and learn. And that's what I do now. Since I decided to get clean, stay where I needed to stay. And even now, I watch people and I learn from them.
Come on now.
It's like you would watch from your mom and you would learn from her. I didn't have that. Or I had it, but I wouldn't want to be that.
Okay, respect.
So I still watch people and learn. My brothers and sisters are so happy. We are all so happy. We actually have a reunion every single Labor Day week. We go to different places. It started with my brother's house and moved to Michigan. We bought my father's poker table out that he had, and it started there. It started going to places that he took us. Now we just pick places that we want to be in. We're going this year to my mom's place where she lived in Eagle River, Wisconsin.
Wow.
We're going back there. We invited our cousins to join us.
Nice.
This is, I think, our 8th year doing it, and we would never stop doing it.
Nice.
There's 5 of us. We're so close. And they couldn't be more happy for me that I'm not on drugs and that I could be and show up today like I can. And my sponsor lived 2 hours from where we were in Florida. We did Universal last year. Do you know that she drove 2 hours just to see me and be with me? And then she's there telling my siblings how hard I worked on my steps and how wonderful a sponsor I could be to others. There was just so much that she was so proud of me for. It still is.
Yes.
And she herself has 36 years.
Lori, you have shared so much. You're at a good place with yourself, with your family, with relationships that you want to have. For the person listening in who's lost it all, relationships, jobs, housing, can you give them a little bit of hope and what it's like to take the first steps towards help?
You know, I didn't take the first steps toward help until I was in so much pain. I feel like pain is our motivator. I think today, though, much like we learned from the 1940s and 50s, we learned from the 70s and 80s, this is a different generation. This is the generation where we are well aware of drug addicts are everywhere and can get clean. I think that if you're struggling today, it's a beautiful time to struggle and look around you and know that we can talk about addiction. We can talk about getting clean. We can talk about our T tags we get in NA, our coins we get in AA. The old way of don't tell anybody that you're in an AA meeting or an NA meeting is, thank God, being thrown out. We don't need that. We don't have to hide. We're in big numbers. We're a big population today, and you can get clean at any time you decide to get clean. And usually it's going to be under duress. Is that the word? Duress and pain. So sooner you feel that pain and that duress come on, take it as a sign to get clean.
Yes.
And learn some things about yourself and your drug that you're using. And then just keep at it. You use again, you don't use after that. You just keep at it. And one day it's gonna click.
I like that. Just keep at it.
Yeah,
right?
don't give up. It's even with our behaviors. With my behavior, I mean, I'm 69 years old. I'm treating people with some respect. You don't give up. You never say you're too old for it. You never do that.
Come on.
Yeah.
Never too old to try again, and keep on coming back. Just keep trying.
Just
Listen
keep
to
coming
my friend
back.
Lori.
And maybe, I mean, this is not my call to make, but I'm going to say maybe you would get in touch with your lovely guests and maybe just reach out and contact one
We're
of
a
us.
community. That's
an email.
perfect to say. Please share your information. If you're willing to that, I would never just say that for you, but if you are willing to be that person for someone to reach out to, the more the merrier. We are a community. I mean that. People need people, and we're in this together.
Right.
So,
Do that. Get emails from speakers that came here, and then they can get phone numbers. You can
Right.
exchange phone numbers
Right.
with that after.
tap in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori,
Thank
and
you
thank
so much.
for everybody who shared or in the past who has shared, and for everybody who is tuning in. Lori said it. We're a community, and we're here for you. We need each other. People need people. We can't do this alone. Until next time, Raw Recovery. Peace.